Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Whole Health Weekly. We're here to discuss the newest, latest, and greatest topics of the week and the ones that are trending on health and those kind of things. But I really, really like doing this one. It's always going to be a recorded version, so we're not going totally live. So hopefully I can figure all that out as we go so you guys can enjoy that hopefully, and then give me some feedback on it. But this way I know I'll be consistent each time. If you hear dogs in the background, I apologize. Kid had a basketball game, so I'm kind of excited. She won, so that was good. I didn't get to see it because I got out of work too late, but I can't wait to hear how it went when she gets back. So what we do tonight is two things. One, we go over one of the 33 chiropractic principles. There's 33 founding chiropractic principles of chiropractic, and these were built 100 plus years ago, and they're really as relevant today as they were back then. So they're way beyond their means, and so we're on this one. We are on principle number 5 because this is our 5th episode. So that's how I'm keeping track. And hopefully I get through all 33. That's my goal with the Whole Health Weekly. So we're going to do that now. So let's go through that before we go into the latest and greatest trends. Okay. All right. So let's go through the 4 principles prior to this, and I'll give a little synopsis. So the principle number 1 of chiropractic is called the major premise. This is about the universal intelligence that is in everything around us. So we have this universal intelligence. You kind of think of it as like the laws of physics. That's what I like thinking of it as. You have the law of gravity that would be a universally intelligent thing to keep things on the earth. Okay. So that's universal intelligence. So the entire world, or the earth, or our realm, has this intelligence around us. The chiropractic meaning of life is what they call principle number 2. This is the expression of that intelligence through matter, is the chiropractic meaning of life. So basically it's saying that really we believe that the matter isn't all that it's cracked up to be. The intelligence of the matter is what is really the big thing. Then there's principle number 3, which is called the union of intelligence and matter, which is life. Life itself is this intelligence and the matter together. Because if you just have matter, right, you have a dead corpse. But if you have an intelligence and the matter, you have life. So that's a good kind of synopsis of that one. So now we're on to principle number 4, which is the triune of life. Triune of life is this. Life is 3 parts: intelligence, force, and matter. So if you think intelligence, think the force one is an old term for, we would probably call it energy. So when the intelligence has to do some kind of action, it uses this energy, right? And then it has to do it with the matter we're given. Okay. So those are the triune of life. So you have intelligence, energy essentially, and matter. Okay. So remember those as we go, because it's very important to understand how, when we say the body needs no help, just no interference, it allows us to understand holistic health, sicknesses, disease, all those things better, because we're looking for something kind of completely different than just what is the disease. Okay. So now we're going on to principle number 5, which is this week. It's called the perfection of that triune. Okay. So they call it triune or 3. So in order to have 100% life, there must be 100% intelligence, 100% force, and 100% matter. So in order to get full life, to have the life at its fullest, our intelligence and our matter has to be 100% perfect. That would allow the intelligence of the body to be 100% perfect and the energy force to be 100% perfect. Okay. So that allows us to have a goal, right? If in our ultimate goal, we want to be 100%, all in on life. And the only way to do that is to make sure our matter is 100%, which is our job, right? So taking care of ourselves, doing as healthy as we possibly can. And then that, by taking care of the matter we have, allows the intelligence of our cells to use the energy properly and give us 100% life. So hopefully you kind of enjoy those. This one's called, so this is principle number 5, called the perfection of the triune. So hopefully as we go through, I'll keep kind of synopsing them. And then by, principle 33, we'll have a ton in there. So that is what we have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, I want to go into what the latest and greatest health trends are this week. And we'll kind of walk through these and see what we think. See if and what we like to do here is like hear these health trends, but then see, do they fit this holistic, the body is the thing, the intelligence of the innate intelligence within us is the healer, do they fit this idea, or is it something we may shy away from a little bit? So this first one is interesting. I had not heard this one until tonight, but it's called sleep maxing. A new wellness trend called sleep maxing has been gaining traction, focusing on maximizing sleep quality and duration for health benefits. This trend involves optimizing sleep environments, routines, and even considering sleep as a form of self-care or biohacking. And discussions on this have been highlighted through potential benefits and skepticism about its effectiveness. So sleep maxing. So let's talk about that. So sleep maxing, basically they're saying, get as proper sleep. This shouldn't be this big of a thought process, but obviously sleep is important, as you go. In fact, in my herbal world, one of the seminars I took, one guy that's like an herbalist, professor as well, he would actually have a sleep detox, he called it. So a sleep detox was where you actually, if you saw somebody that was overall fatigued, just generally fatigued, he would actually make you lay in bed for a full day and sleep in and out, waking up when you want, but don't move. Like, so you're supposed to sleep, as we go. And he used it as a way to kind of reset that sleeping pattern. And you do this for a couple of days, right? So then you do this, you'd have to have no kids around. You'd have to have a very dedicated family to be able to do it, in that sense, because it's going to take a lot of effort. But sometimes this may not be a bad idea, doing a sleep gaining session, because everybody says you can never, basically, make up for lost sleep. I kind of disagree with that. I think you can. I think we just don't do it well. And because of the day-to-day errand running crazy, the amount of stuff that's getting our attention, trying to keep us up. Literally, there's studies that there's a chiropractic convention out in Vegas. There's one every year. And one year, the chiropractic convention was across basically from the gambling convention. And if you don't know this, there are scientists that actually figure out the lights of a casino to make sure that you don't know what time it is outside. And so the next time you go in, that's why you lose track of time so much in a casino, is because the way they set up the lights, all the everything makes you stay up, and it tricks your brain into thinking it's a different time frame. And so as you see, like in Michigan, we have a ton of the sun goes down really early, in the wintertime months. And so about 5:30 or 6, people if it's really cold, you start getting a little more sleepy. I think that's kind of an advantage, actually. Some places, we probably sleep better sometimes in like a Michigan type climate, than some of your you know, more hot and humid ones. I think sometimes maybe because of that nice cold and, those kind of things, we might get better sleep than, let's say, Louisiana. I don't know if that's true, but it could be there, right? So basically, maximizing your sleep patterns and routines in those environments should be a critical thing anyway, right? So this should be no new thing to my holistic people that are listening, but not a bad idea. And then when I heard this from this other herbalist that he had really good effects with taking somebody that's exhausted and making them sleep for a full day, sometimes that could be a huge thing where you just lay in your bed all day and allow your body to sleep when it asks to sleep. Okay. So sleep maxing, pretty interesting that's in the trends this week. Let's see. This next one is kind of interesting. This one's all over the internet. I'm trying to be nice about this one, but GLP-1 microdosing. GLP-1. Okay, so let's talk about this article real quick, or what it's been. There's been a significant buzz around Ozempic microdosing for weight loss, where individuals take smaller doses of the diabetes drug for weight management. This trend has sparked debates regarding its efficacy, safety, and ethical implications, including the potential for misuse, overuse of the medication for the intended other purposes. One of the problems with this, I'm not going to use the drug's name, but like as we go, we have to understand that the trade-off for changing, when you're looking at any kind of system, right? So when you look at any kind of system in the human body, GLP-1, let me give you a good definition. All right. So GLP-1 is a hormone that helps regulate blood sugar, digestion, and appetite. Okay. So we have this hormone in our body. Now, my situation, I've seen this with even not just drugs, but also some nutritional supplements can do it as well. But when you have GLP-1 as a hormone, it's really tough to take something like a chemical to regulate it down to what you need it to be, because then your body is still wanting to produce it. And so if you're taking something where it reduces that effect, or anything like that, you're going to have an effect on the cells of the human body. With that, when the body is perfect, the innate intelligence of the body knows exactly what it's supposed to do. Is it the right move? Maybe it's something that you're just, I don't know. I'm not going to, throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I do know there will be trade-offs. There will be trade-offs that you're not going to like, right? So there's going to be side effects. There's going to be a lot of things that sometimes these medications, especially when they're inducing hormones, so think about one of the biggest things that happened over time is melatonin in kids. So melatonin is a hormone that we produce, and it allows the brain to initiate sleep. And it's very effective. And so a lot of people would start their kid on melatonin, finding out they almost have this addictive pattern. Well, the problem is because it's a produced chemical in your body's innate intelligence produces it. When you were giving the body this melatonin, it stopped producing it as much. So then you had a lot of kids that get stuck on this melatonin type thing to actually initiate sleep. So that's not what I would say a holistic situation. GLP-1 inhibiting it is probably not a holistic way to go about things. Is it For some people, maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to, say yay or nay to all that stuff. However, to live a holistic life, is that something you want to do? Probably not, because if you're replacing a hormone that your body actually makes actively, then that can be a major issue for the rest of the body in general. So another good example of this, they're called digestive enzymes. So digestive enzymes are used and they work really well for digestion. Good temporary fix, just like some kind of medications are. However, if you keep taking digestive enzymes when you eat and you're actually digesting better and blah, 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 your body gets saying, oh, you already make them. Your body is so intelligent that it will stop making stuff to store itself, to make sure that it has, it can take its attention elsewhere, right? So then your body stops producing these digestive enzymes. The best thing to do is allow your body to have the best environment for those digestive enzymes to start working properly, which is, good gut health, good probiotics, good things that could lead to those digestive enzymes start working, right? Good balanced pH in that intestinal area. Those can all be really, really good ideas. And so a lot of times when you're looking at these things, look at that. Like, what does a drug do, right? This one happens to inhibit a certain hormone that tells your body you're not hungry anymore. That's essentially what it does, right? Anything wrong with that? I don't know. So, it's one of those. Let me see. So GLP-1, let's look at the hormone itself. So what does GLP-1 do? It stimulates insulin secretion. It helps the body absorb glucose after eating. So it GLP-1 stimulates that insulin to process it. So let's say you have this regulation. So let's say you have this GLP-1 and it's not working properly, right? So you have this GLP-1 and you take this medicine that inhibits this hormone, right? So now if you eat some glucose, does your body produce the GLP-1 that it's supposed to? I don't know. Sorry. That's my dog sneezing. That's hilarious. Okay. So that's an interesting process. You don't want to necessarily stop it from breaking down glucose, right? Glucose is a bunch of sugars together in a big ball, and then it kind of breaks it up. So glucose is the sugar of your body. Yeah, that's right. Glucose is that, and then you want that for energy. What else does GLP-1 do? Inhibits glucagon secretion. So GLP-1 helps prevent blood sugar spikes after eating. Okay. So maybe if you inhibit this, are you going to prevent the blood sugar spikes after eating? Maybe not, right? These are all things the hormone does, right? So by inhibiting this hormone, what are you doing to the rest of your body? It slows digestion. So GLP-1, the hormone, slows down how quickly food leaves the stomach, which is a good thing because we want to get as much good calories out of good stuff as we possibly can. So the GLP-1 hormone slows down the digestion so that we can get as much out of that in the breakdown process. And then the GLP-1 hormone also can help you feel less hungry. Okay. So that is what is happening. All right. Let me see how this drug works, actually. Maybe I had that wrong. All right. GLP-1. Let me look. How does... It's really easy. Yeah. So what basically these new GLP-1 things do, these new drugs, it mimics the hormone GLP-1, which signals the brain that you are full, thus reducing the appetite and slowing down the stomach emptying, making you feel satiated for longer and leading to eating less food overall. So that's interesting, but it's still mimicking. So it's a chemical mimicking a hormone. So now you're not producing as much hormone as you were in that scenario. as you look at it as a holistic person, your flags go flying up in the air going, holy crap, we don't want that, because we want to make sure that we get a good, perfect, innate intelligence driven response of this GLP-1. But if you're going to mimic it as a hormone, a natural hormone, or like as a chemical, then you're never going to get there, right? So that's my 2 cents on that. I try not to get into that one because it's like pretty intense, like on how everybody feels about those things. But that's a good thought processes as you're thinking about those. Okay. Let's see our next article. All right. Let's see. Okay. So, big interest in this one's crazy, but I got to bring it up at this point. So, there's a big interest, huge interest in the longevity research. Okay. So, longevity health research. Now, the AI is all over the place. Now, you're going to have this huge push for AI driven anti aging science. So, that's what they're calling it, which is hilarious, but whatever. So, anti-aging science, which means manipulation of the body, the human body, of the perfection of the innate intelligence of the human body. But I digress. So, as you can see, I'm not a huge fan of all this kind of scenario because I think it's going to be a money grab, because we're going to go after genetics. Okay. So, as we go with genetics, a lot of people aren't going to like this. But remember, there's an entire study called epigenetics. Okay. Epigenetics is changing your genes, turning on and off your genes. You have the ability, and we haven't tapped it. None of us can say, hey, we are going crazy, like we've figured out this whole gene situation. But our bodies are not our genes. Our bodies are our consciousness. So we must understand that. We must understand this innate intelligence is the consciousness of the human body and in each cell. So until we understand that, we're going to get these genetic, everything's like based on your genes and all these things, and they fail miserably. They've been around a long time. So don't think that AI is going to come with these new genetic specific, nutrition and why am I still sick, right? We see it's been around for years. And so just remember that as you go into this AI world, we don't know. We don't know if a computer can tell us better than you're asking this computer algorithm, basically a high-end computer algorithm, to tell you how the cell of your body is supposed to inherently act, to inherently have intelligence to it. Can't do it. So we'll have deeper discussions on this as we go, because I'm sure this is not the last time we will be talking about AI. I promise you that. Okay. All right. Let's look at some of the health trends. Well, we were talking about that, trends like DNA-based diet, right? Wearable health tech is a pretty good trends for this year. So that's kind of interesting. Remember too, though, some of these wearable techs, remember how we talk about nature needs no help, no interference. We don't want to totally wear so much stuff and all the time that we mess our actual biofield up. That's a big deal. Okay. So like our biofield's 5 feet away from our body, the human biofield is. Think of when people talk about chakras and that kind of energy. So that is real. That is no joke about anything like that. So the biggest thing is like getting in there and understanding how that biofield works. Sometimes some of these wearable situations are reading things, but they're also kind of interfering with their biofield, just like EMFs. So remember, electromagnetic field radiation can come into your face and kind of really mess with you as well. So those are some good trends that we're going to see. And you can see how it, like in holistic, understanding how to approach it could be good, because then that way it gives you a different perspective. Like when you're looking at, like what we talked about, if you replace a hormone with a chemical, are you going to get the natural, actual innate intelligence response you're actually looking for? You might get the result you're looking for for a while, but what happens later, right? So you always want to think that way, okay? And then it kind of makes it easier to make decisions. That's one reason I'm doing the Whole Health Weekly now. Okay, so now let's go into the cool stuff. So that was the trends kind of this week. And then I'm going to go to Dr. Mercola's articles because a lot of times he's got a lot of good stuff. We should probably do this. We got to talk about glyphosate. Where is that? Sorry, he's doing something different. Nope, I don't want to do that one. We're going to go to... Okay, so what is a glyphosate? So glyphosate, it's growing, is become, this is the story. So glyphosate has become the most widely used herbicide in history, with the usage increasing from 100-fold to 300-fold since the late 1970s, resulting in its presence in 60 to 80% of the general population through food, water, and air exposure. Research has shown that glyphosate can accumulate in the liver, kidney, and colon and brain, cross the blood-brain barrier, and has been found in human breast milk, indicating it doesn't simply get excreted as claimed. A 2-year study found that exposure to a glyphosate-based herbicide at doses far below permissible levels could cause organ damage and increased tumor incidence, particularly in mammary tumors, breast tumors, in female test subjects. Glyphosate has been identified as an endocrine disruptor, showing 8 out of 10 key characteristics associated with endocrine disrupting chemicals, and can affect future generations through epigenetic changes. Remember, I said that. So you can have an environment issue create genetic altercations as we go. Why couldn't you have them go in the right direction as well? Studies show switching to an organic diet can reduce urinary glyphosate by levels of 71% within 6 days, with the highest sources of exposure being conventional grains, processed food, and the dirty dozen produced items. So conventional grains and processed foods and all those kind of things will get you these, getting you away from a lot of the pesticides. But going to a more natural-based diet can really, really pay off for you in the very end. So that's good information to know, right? Especially with glyphosate being in a lot of our chemicals and all those kind of processes too. So just remember that as we go. There's going to be a lot of talk on the old glyphosates. Glyphosates are tough, but like at this point, like what you want to do is try to avoid them like the plague. But it's one of those things until they're out of the culture. That's all you can do until they find a different alternative, maybe a cheaper one, those kind of things. Oh, I like this one. This one, we'll leave with this one. I really like this one. And then I will leave you alone. Hopefully you're enjoying this as we go. I'm a little nervous. I was going to go a little longer. However, if my kid and my wife come in, the dogs will go nuts. So we're going to end with this article here. How slow breathing alters brain circuits to crush anxiety. Okay, this is the story. This is by Dr. Mercola. Research has identified a brain circuit involving the anterior cingulate cortex, pons, and medulla. Okay, so you don't have to know all that. So parts of your brain that link slow breathing to reduced anxiety. Activating this circuit in mice led to slower breathing and decreased anxiety, while shutting it off increased stress and breathing rates. So when they had the slow breathing, it decreased the anxiety. And when they had the faster breathing, it increased stress instantly. Okay, which kind of makes sense, but it is something that I watch every day. When you're running crazy stress all the time, the problem is like you can feel that anxiety happen and you start shortening your breath pattern. Even in those moments, find a way to take a big, deep, slow breath, and you're going to notice a big difference in your life. Let's see. We'll go through this article a little bit. You can have upper back stiffness because we don't breathe deep anymore. So then your upper neck and upper back starts hurting because they have this shortness of breath. You're not moving those vertebrae and those ribs around. So that could be a big issue. Yeah, so that's basically it. It makes sense in a sense of this big, slow breathing. Just remember, one of the things I learned in this area, because there's a guy named Andrew Weil, Weil. He is a doctor that has done so much study in nutrition and breathing. He's fantastic. I recommend all of his books highly. I don't know if he's written anything recently, but going back and getting his breathing technique books are fantastic. But one of the things that I thought was fascinating, he taught in one of his books, find a place. So for me, every time I try to go into a room with a patient, okay, so I have different doors. We got like 6 doors. So we go through each of these different adjusting doors. I'm able to tell my brain psychologically, take a big deep breath and slow down, because as you can see, I like to talk, and that talking shortens my breath pattern. So a lot of times if I can take this big deep breath when I go in and blow it all out, things just kind of normalize, and it's in the same time. So think about this. You can actually relax yourself like that in the same time frame you were stressing yourself out before, regardless of the time frame. So remember that as you go, because it could be a great way to essentially meditate, right? So you can get into almost like a mini meditation session every time you go into this one hallway, sit at your desk, right? Get up from sitting from your desk. All of these time frames, especially if you could create the trigger in your brain that says, hey, every time I get up from sitting, I'm going to take a nice big deep breath and blow it all out. And then the deeper you feel that, the more you actually feel those vertebrae starting moving, right? The vertebrae start moving with this big diaphragmatic breathing, and then blow it all out. And there's so many cool patterns on breathing techniques out there. So I hope to bring those to you as well, because they are fantastic. So, but that, my friends, I hope that was a good little podcast for us this week. Remember, when I post this, which will be tomorrow or Wednesday, if you like it and you want me to cover any kind of topic, like as we go, let me know and we will get on that so that we can do some research. And I love bringing that to the table as well. It doesn't have to be just weekly trends, but I like to stay up on them and see where we go from there. So for that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great night. Have a good one.